out? Because it'll go.
Okay, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Two Harbors on September 26, 2022. Roll call, please.
Woodruff.
Here.
Washer. Here. Redwald. Passy.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Redden.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a couple changes. I would like to remove consent agenda item number 6. Split consent agenda item number 13 into part A and part B. Remove consent agenda number 18. Change the wording for unfinished business number 2 from or to and. And that's it. Oh,
Yep, 19.
remove consent agenda number 19 to new business number 5.
Perfect. Okay. Next, I'm looking for a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move forward. Next up, we have appearances. Appearance number 1 is our Finance Director, Miranda Pietola, regarding the preliminary tax levy for 2023.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get this going here. Hold on here, trying to figure this out.
Okay, good evening, council. So I'm gonna go over the 2023 preliminary levy. Finance has been meeting over the last couple months, and this is what we're presenting.
Trying.
All right, so the 2023 preliminary levy, sorry, the slide says 22, but a little background. The City of Two Harbors is required to comply with the statutory deadline for submittal and certification of the preliminary property tax levy to Lake County before October 1st of 2022. The preliminary levy is the base for budget work that will be brought back to the council for continued budget discussion during the fall of 2022. So tonight we're doing the presentation of our suggested preliminary levy, and then we'll be continuously coming back over the fall for discussions about what is exactly going into that levy along with our capital improvement plan. The preliminary levy is a maximum levy that can be certified to the county auditor. And this amount can be reduced prior to that time, but it cannot be increased. So the public will have an official opportunity to discuss the 2023 budget and levy at our Truth and Taxation meeting, which will be held on Monday, December 5th at 6 p.m. So the proposed levy is a 4% increase, which brings to the general fund an increase of $96,508. So for every 1% that the city levies, it's approximately about $24,100, with a total city levy of $2,522,174. So what does that mean for property taxes? So with discussions with Lake County, this is assuming a 30.28% increase in the estimated market value from 2022 to 2023. So here's for 100,000 all the way up to 300,000. Last year, the median household was about 150,000, which their tax amount was $1,028. So with that 30.28% increase, The value for '23 is $195,420, with a tax increase to $1,088, which is $60 for that year. And this is only the city portion of the tax. I just point that out.
Need the next slide?
Yep, thank you.
And I'll see if I can do it there.
So some of the factors contributing to the property tax increase, like I said, the tax capacity increase is estimated at 30.28%. And in that, the tax rate decreased about 24%. And it is important to know that market values and taxes do not increase or decrease the same for all properties. So moving ahead to the final budget and final levy, we'll definitely have to have council input and prioritization of some of the projects for 2023. With staff input, we'll finalize estimates and assumptions and operations in the capital budgets, and then public input. Our finance meetings are always public, so it's great to have feedback on priorities the citizens have and how they want to see the city look. So the truth and taxation notices will be sent out in their November, and then the truth and taxation hearing is again on December 5th at 6 p.m. And just a summary for the proposed 2023 levy, the city tax levy for the general fund is $2,509,206, with the proposed 2023 tax levy increase of 4%, which equates to $96,508. And the proposed 2023 city budget impact on a home valued at $195,420 is a $60 annual increase, which is about $5 per month impact. And is there any questions?
When you had your discussions with Lake County, is the tax base because of new development, or is it a combination of new development and other current existing properties growing in value?
Right, I think the large is the growing in value of that, that 30.28% increase on average of the property tax values.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Mom.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that we really are shooting for 2. You can't go any, but we figured 4 was the safer number to land on. We can always come down, but because we're trying to get a really low one this year, we'll do everything we can to get it. We want to get to 2, I can't guarantee it. We gotta look at everything, but yeah. So.
Go ahead.
And I just want to thank Miles and Ben and Miranda and the team for doing a lot of work. I was unable to make one of the meetings, and I know we've shared a lot of joy talking about finance for the last several years, so I knew you knew where my heart was. I think one of the important things will be to see the proposed property tax statements. That can really help us, because as Miranda mentioned, Derek and I could have 2 completely different tax impacts on our properties, and that could look very different even though we both may own a house. And so I think it's really important to see what those it's hard to see it without actually them calculating it, and they can't do it until they get our stuff. So I appreciate that our finance committee looked at a very reasonable amount. We've been pretty aggressive over the past several years because we knew we had important projects and things we needed to do for the city. And I think last year at this time we were saying, okay, next year hopefully we can really be thoughtful about it. And I just want to say that Ben and Miles have been a great sounding board to work through this, and we wouldn't be able to do any of this without Miranda. So we're really appreciative of how she does that work to make it more understandable for us, and that kind of that per month investment of, even at 4% at $5 a month, and that's going to help us do more things as we sort of explain all the different components of the general fund budget. I think will be important. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. We couldn't do it. There's moments in finance where, I wish Kathy was here.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
Thanks a lot for the presentation, Miranda.
Next in appearances, I have John Rashid. Is that correct pronunciation?
That's close. Rashid.
Rashid? Okay. On a presentation on waterfront concerns.
Well, thanks for having me today. Really, the reason that I'm here is I'm looking for your help. I've been kind of on an email mission to get some attention at the DNR for some of the waterfront concerns that I have. And if you've had a chance to look at the packet information, it's clearly the property that's owned by the DNR. Now, in my estimation, the DNR's got a lot of money and they can choose which projects to work on. You just have to push the right button, and I think that we need to find a project champion within the DNR. I haven't had a lot of luck, but I've contacted many people in the DNR. I've contacted senators, I've contacted representatives, I've contacted people that I work with in the industry, design and construction industry, trying to get some movement, but I'm absolutely floored that the DNR's owned that property since 2004 and has done nothing. I think it's just a disservice to the city. So I wanted to really, the purpose of the presentation is to try and get some support from the city council and city administration. The big concern of mine is I think that that property is extremely dangerous, and this is just an example. If you go to the next slide, please.
Let's see if I can do it here.
I think you could just page down just a little bit.
Oh, went too far. There.
There. So obviously this is not a good situation. I've seen kids out there probably 3 times myself. I live on Marsmount, but I walk a lot down by there. I'm sure you've all seen kids down there. They like to go underneath and party. I actually saw some girls, they were videoing, they were feeding the seals and running up and down that pier, and I was just afraid somebody was gonna fall and land on that rebar. Somebody could get seriously hurt, so I think it's an extremely dangerous condition, and one that I would guess the DNR would take notice of right away. I also think it's an environmental hazard. There's lots of money out there right now for improvements in the Great Lakes. We've got tons of concrete, tons of rebar falling into Lake Superior there. I think that the DNR has the ability to go after grants, has the ability to go after money to help clean that area up. I also think it's an eyesore and an embarrassment to the city. You guys held the Festival of the Sail here. Thousands of people walk past those piers. And it's just not a good situation. Everybody thinks it's the city of Two Harbors' problem. It's not. It's really the DNR's problem. So I'd like to see the city, get behind this effort. When you have Mary Murphy or, Pete Stauber riding in the parade, whoever's driving them around, drive them down to the waterfront, show them what the issues are, see if we can garner some support. Some of you, maybe some of you in the audience already know somebody within the DNR or have contacts with your state representatives. Send them emails. Let's get on a push to get them to do something. So if you could go to the next slide, please.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it did here. It's coming. Changes here. All right, hold on. It changes
While he's
here.
getting that going. So the last slide talks about, I know that there used to be a waterfront ad hoc committee or some sort of committee to talk about waterfront issues. I don't know if I would be eligible to sit on something like that since I don't live in the city proper. I live in Marsmount. But I sure would like to see something like that started up again so that ad hoc committee could provide some recommendations to the city and the city council on what to do better down there. I think, I travel quite a bit. I spend a lot of time walking on the waterfronts, different areas all around Lake Michigan, up and down the East Coast. It's a really cool opportunity here. You have a working waterfront. Who has that? I mean, it's a really cool opportunity, and I think there's just a lot that can happen down there. The last thing that I want to just mention, I've got absolutely zero financial interest in anything that I'm talking about tonight. Just a citizen, and I think we can do better. So happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions? Go ahead, Ken.
Well, first, thanks for coming, I appreciate it. I think, as you probably followed the city council, we've had many iterations of the waterfront,
Yep.
at least during my time, and I know if other fellow councilors could talk about all the way back into the 80s or earlier where we've seen development plans. I think the council is in a unique place to kind of reboot and recharge, and I think this is a great opportunity to have that as one of our considerations. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that, and I think as we're bringing our teams together and having these conversations about what does this look like, and maybe reforming and getting some public input, I'll look forward to that. So thanks for sharing your insights, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I think that the DNR's got the horsepower, they've got the expertise to do something down there. And right now, you're a little bit hamstrung because it is their property. I know that there was a bill introduced to transfer the money, or transfer the property over to the city of Two Harbors. I don't know, if I was a city attorney, I'd be a little bit nervous about that, because now we've just taken on the liability for the city of Two Harbors. So kind of happy that that didn't happen. So hopefully something can move along. And I would appreciate anybody contacting me to help out any way I can. So thank you. And I apologize, I'm going to sneak out of here.
That's okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trying my best. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, do we have Mr. Radish's contact information?
I do.
You do? Okay, just wanted to make sure in case anybody wants to get touch base with him.
Sure. All right. We'll move on to administrative reports.
I don't have anything, so thank you.
Yep. Committee reports. Theta. Okay. Trees and Trails Commission.
Trees and Trails met on the 15th, and there was some discussion. Dan Cruikshank from Open Gear was there, and he's still pursuing a trail system adjacent to the railroad track on his property, and it would, and the railroad property, and he's looking for the snowmobile corridor to be vacated, and the snowmobile club was going to be meeting the following night, and looking at that, it's a snowmobile trail that doesn't go anywhere currently, so there's potential it could be vacated. There was discussion on the Bigfoot trails and actually expanding the use to make them ready for summer use also, and potentially for fat tire bikes. Discussion on the Highway 61 trails and tunnels, and it was, that's what we discussed earlier, the east end of town was preferred for a pedestrian tunnel crossing, whereas the west end made more sense for a snowmobile only. Connection of the pedestrian trail to the Gitchigami was discussed also. Joe Bryan was there to present on the land adjacent, or between the wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant, and the geotechnical survey is currently being done. Tree planting was discussed, and trying to figure out who was going to do the planting, coordinate the planting for the projects. The city planner had been working on it, and we looked at the consultant planner to try to put together a letter to send out to property owners who had a tree construction project to determine what kind of trees they would prefer. We discussed the 3 trees that we were looking at. for the 28, or for this year's planting. I think the consensus was we're probably not going to be able to get trees into the ground in October, so we'll look at the spring planting. The 3 types of trees that we're looking at are flowering crab, bur oak, and I believe so. I always blank out at 2, so. And we're looking at making sure those trees are at least 3 feet back from any curb and 2 feet back from any sidewalk to allow for snow storage, as well as to reduce the possibility of roots causing problems with the sidewalk. And then finally there was a quick discussion about the Trees and Trails Commission taking a ride walk, looking at some of the older trails, the trail rehab, requirements needed, and perhaps updating maps for ADA compliance. And ARDC volunteered that they do have a data bike that they can ride on the trail to look at issues that the trail has that automatically records it. And so that was
They have lots of nice toys.
yes.
Thank you, Derek. Move on to Energy Commission.
Yeah, well, we met on the 21st. We're in the process of getting the bubblers all squared away. There's a permit from the DNR, I believe, just to keep the ice cleared away from the energy in the winter time. The Public Works was gonna go address some issues with the dock after the tall ships came in. There was some missing fencing and some stuff that got left kind of, not trashed, but not the way it was found. Tom still hasn't pumped any water out of it all summer. Usually we don't have to pump water out of it until the winter. The ceiling in the pilot house just needs to be varnished, and then that project will be all finished up. The gunnels, that's the top railing around the top of the boat for people that don't know. They're starting to rot in some places. So we had it painted, I believe, it might have been 8 years ago now. That was when I first got on the council, but some of them, it needs some painting again. And probably some replacement. We won't get to it this year, but there'll be a project for next year. We're still shooting for December for a special meeting. I think we need a special meeting. It's gonna be like an hour or 2 of energy fund and all the research that Paul Lemaire's done with his team. We're just talked about getting some security. You can get cameras installed pretty cheaply nowadays, just that would monitor the energy. They just go on your phone or online and view them. Then we also gotta be in touch with Blake, the electrical superintendent, just to put some LEDs on the dock down there. If it's okay with the railroad, which I'm sure that will be. And that's all we had.
Thank you, Miles. Public Arts Commission. I was here, but there was no meeting due to lack of quorum. Personnel Committee.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Personnel met on the 26th. We had a discussion with the Public Works Director about the needs that he currently has within the department. Of course, we were hoping to get the Public Works Assistant Superintendent on board, but we have to go back through some training policies that are in that job description. We do meet on Wednesday at 4:30, so we will be addressing that. Because one of the things that the Public Works Director was looking at is bringing back the need for like nearly a full-time sign painter, and we're not sure where to put that position, whether it's, as part of the assistant's job or a separate job. We need to have some more discussion and review those job descriptions. Basically what we also need to do is we need to get the posting internal and external, a specialist 1 and a specialist 2, and I'm hoping that at our meeting on Wednesday we can get that settled and move forward with those postings. I know everybody needs more help. I think that was about it, wasn't it, Ben? Anything to add? Okay, that's it.
That looks like all the meetings that.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Public Works met briefly today. We just talked about some sidewalk assessments for, back in 2018 and 2019, it was 50%. The street and the sidewalks were 50% assessed to the homeowner. But our new policy as of November 2020 was that we were gonna do $50 a square. There's some houses, that have steps and walkways up to the house, or they're different. There's different widths, different lengths coming into the property or right away. A typical square is 5 by 5 of what we've been doing, so that's 25 square feet per square. And how we're doing it now and for the future, we cut out the pedestrian ramps, like the city pays for that portion on the ends of on the avenues. So where you would enter into an avenue or street, we pay for those. And then we cover all the gravel and everything underneath. Right now, currently, it's estimated at about $225 a square. So we're taking the total square area in front of the houses and dividing it by the number of houses, so it's an even, so everybody gets assessed evenly. But it's still, we're taking, this might need to be reviewed in a few years as costs increase with everything, with concrete and all that. But right now, the city's taking on the brunt of it, because it's about $225 a square, and we're just charging $50. So we decided to go with, that was our recommendation moving forward to, it's significantly cheaper for the citizens, for the city to take on this cost. So we decided we'd go with that, or that's our recommendation moving forward. That's all we have.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Miles, is that for the people that that want their sidewalks done and they're on a special list?
There's still just $50 a square, but even now in
the street assessment.
reconstruction,
Okay.
yeah, it's $50. We adopted that in November 2020, that we were just gonna charge $50 a square.
So if there's citizens out there that aren't having their street fixed or their sidewalks, redone,
Yeah.
they can still send a request to the city to have that done?
Correct. Yeah, but that was our hopes, that at $50 a square, some people, because the sidewalks are.
It's a sidewalk sale.
Yeah, I mean, it's $50 a square, so if you got 10, it's gonna cost you $500 to do it in front of your house, and you can't really, like I said, the average cost of a square right now is $225. So, I mean, we're trying to get our sidewalks improved, and that hopefully will encourage it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon, do you have something?
I was just gonna say that form that people can sign up, so there's a form that we have, and that's available online. So for anybody that is thinking about it for next year, they should get their form in, and then they can be on that list for the projects for the sidewalks for 2023.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Up next, we have a resolution approving the consent agenda items.
So,
Second.
Could you please read those in, Patty? Can you? Are you good? Oh,
Yep. Number 1, approving minutes from the September 12th, 2022 regular city council meeting. 2, allowing claims against the city of Two Harbors to be paid on September 27th, 2022. 3, approving payroll for the first half of September 2022. 4, accepting the resignation of John Dover with regret from the Trees and Trails Commission and authorizing a letter of appreciation for his service. 5, authorizing payment to Bolton and Mink in the amount of $55,616.35 for construction engineering services for the wastewater treatment project from July 9th through August 19th, 2022. 7, accepting the proposal of Pollard Water for the purchase of a MetroTech BM850 line locator for an amount of $4,011.56. 8, authorizing the purchase of 4,800 feet of electrical wire from CLP for the wastewater treatment plant project for an amount of $13,056. 9, accepting the proposal of Bolton and Mink to provide engineering services for design of the Odegaard Trail. 10, certifying assessments to Lake County Auditor against certain property within the city for delinquent utility charges. 11, approving the request of the electrical superintendent for travel and expenses for he and Evan Sandretsky to attend the MMUA 2022 Transformer School in Marshall, Minnesota. 12, approving the request of the chief of police to authorize travel and expenses for James Kavlin to attend the Celebrite Certified Operator and Physical Analyst Training in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. 13A, accepting the recommendation of the Personnel Committee to authorize a special pay request for Richard Hoganson. 13B, accepting the resignation of the Personnel Committee to authorize a special pay request for Kenneth Anderson. 14, establishing a committee of the whole and regular city council meeting dates for the month of December 2022 for the 5th and 12th due to the holidays. 15, authorizing the acting mayor and city clerk to execute and deliver a state of Minnesota joint powers agreement between the state of Minnesota through its Department of Public Safety on behalf of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and the city of Two Harbors on behalf of its police department for the purpose of providing access to the Minnesota Criminal Justice Data Communications Network and those systems and tools to which they are authorized by law to access for the purposes outlined in Minnesota Statute Section 299.46. 16, authorizing the library director to make application for a Blandon grant for improvements to the restrooms at the library. 17, accepting the recommendation of the Personnel Committee to authorize the execution of Amendment Number 2 to the interim employment agreement between the City of Two Harbors and Joel Dine. 20, accepting the resignation of Dylan Jindra from the Police Department with regret and authorizing a letter of appreciation for his service to the city. 21, authorizing internal and external bulletins for the position of patrol officer in the Police Department. 22, authorizing the transfer of AIP entitlements to Cook Municipal Airport for payback of entitlements used by the city. 23, authorizing a 2023 AIP grant initiation letter to the FAA indicating there are no City of Two Harbors AIP projects planned for 2023. 24, authorizing the acting mayor and city clerk to execute and deliver a letter of agreement between the city and SEH for the purpose of completing the FAA required environmental work for the AWAS relocation project.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on these items? If not, roll call please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Blazar,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden.
Yes. All right, communications, there's only one, so I'll say Patty's voice and say a memorandum from Joe Ryan Bolton and Mink providing a status update on the MnDOT Highway 61 project. And next up, I have unfinished business. Unfinished business item number 1 is a resolution determining that the city will continue with the practice of conducting primary elections if there are more than 2 candidates for any one elected office during any regular or special election.
So moved.
Second.
Microphone, please, Ben.
Sorry. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Blazar,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden.
Yes. Unfinished business item number 2. A resolution calling for a special election and primary election, if necessary, on February 14th, 2023, for the purpose of electing a mayor. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Go ahead, Counselor Erickson.
I'm sorry, this may have been discussed in a meeting that I missed. If we need to have a primary election, that would happen on the 14th, and we'd have to have a subsequent special election at the next.
April 11th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Blazar,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
here, fuck.
Excuse me?
Whoa, excuse us.
Please mute.
Redden.
Yes. All right. New business items now. New business item number 1 is a resolution establishing the proposed property tax levy for taxes payable in the year 2023 for the city of Two Harbors, and scheduling the truth and taxation hearing for December 5th, 2022 at 6 p.m. at City Hall.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Wajer,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Reddin.
Yes. New business item number 2, a resolution removing Chris Swanson from the city charter and planning commissions.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? Go ahead.
Yes, according to the code, the only way to remove someone from the commission is due to cause, and cause for the purpose of removing someone from a commission is no longer living in the 55616 area code or failure to attend a meeting. So I'm wondering what the basis for removing Chris Swanson from these commissions is.
I think cause will be established by the special election.
Mr. Attorney, can you help enlighten us?
I'll answer that.
Microphone, please.
It's on. Section 2.40 subdivision 1 says members may be removed by a majority vote of the council. The council may remove any member for good cause. For purposes of this section, good cause shall include failure to regularly attend meetings of the commission or the failure to live in the 55616 zip code area. That is not exclusive. That means it shall include these 2 things, but it does not exclude other conduct. So you need to decide if a recall of an elected official constitutes good cause for removing them from the commission. If you think it is, then that's how you vote.
Mr. Chair. I'll just comment, I think there was 2 months on meetings missed. I think there's good cause.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Wajer,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Reddin.
Yes. New business item number 3, a resolution declining preliminary approval of the Two Harbors Housing Redevelopment Authority's proposed tax levy collectible in 2023.
Also moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? If not, roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Wajer,
Yes.
Massey,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Reddin.
Yes. New business item number 4, a resolution declining the 2023 collectible tax levy for the Two Harbors Housing and Redevelopment Authority. I thought so.
Is it necessary to do both those resolutions?
You can deny the preliminary.
Okay.
We'll strike that one then from the table.
Okay.
Then we'll move on to new business item number 5. And that's consider authorizing a letter of support for Lake County Soil and Water to make application to the U.S. Army Corps for funding assistance for the 5th Street CASA 36 baffle box on 5th and 6th, and hydrodynamic separator on 5th project, and potentially a hydrodynamic separator on 8th Street project, 12th Avenue, when Lake County resurfaces the area.
Still.
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
They're just, the fancy words are like water separators, like for garbage and
Yeah.
pollution, and just so people are aware. They know what they are, surprisingly.
I would just like to thank the Soil and Water for making the application to the Army Corps of Engineers. We all know what goes into Lake Superior down that lovely little creek, so I think this is a perfect time to get some assistance to help keep our waters clean.
Go ahead, Patty.
And just for the record, it's been recommended that when someone abstains, because I'm assuming Derek may abstain from this, that they state the reason why they're abstaining so that I can document it in the minutes. That's something that's been recommended by the state auditor's office.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Blazer,
Yes.
Passy,
I abstain since I'm an employee of the Lake County Stormwater Conservation District.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden.
Yes. All right. And if there's nothing else, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Woodruff,
Yes.
Blazer,
Yes.
Passy,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
Redden.
Yes, we are adjourned.
Yeah.